Travel to the world of manga. I didn't expect to receive SCP-343, which is known as God's template. Time backtracking, time travel, instant movement. Using the solar system to smash people is all a part of pediatrics recognized as divine by the SCP. It is truly the supreme divine Yahweh in the theory of the end of the universe, possessing an endless army of angels under his command. But such ability, in this world, can be a bit boring. Invincible is also a kind of loneliness. Until Ding, Wanjie Chatskirt invites you to join. Do you agree? Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 001, SCP-343, Supreme Divine Lord. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This world is getting more and more boring for me. Mount Everest. Qingye was wearing short sleeves and leaning against the largest stone, looking ahead at the drifting clouds. He yawned. His face was filled with a calm expression. Bored and uninteresting, this is his evaluation of his current life. Sometimes, being too strong can be boring. He even has an idea of taking action to change the world. But in the end, it was forcefully suppressed. This world is not without the existence that he cares about. If the world really changes because of one's own actions, if he cannot adjust, then he will not be able to bear the consequences. However, to put it simply, our strength is not enough. Qingye shook her head and instantly disappeared into place. By the time it reappeared, it was already Toyozaki University in City A. Going to school is not necessary, but the people inside are, which is a remedy for his boring life. He is already bored, and if he stays at home, he may rust. At the time when Qingye had just traveled, she didn't have any intention of going to school. Stay at home and play games crazily. 24 hours non-stop. But how many games in this world are enough for him to play? In the end, he even felt that going to school was not that difficult to accept. 343, when will you be strong enough to leave this world? Looking at Hizuka Jing on the podium table and Ingli Li on the table next to her, Qingye's thoughts gradually dissipated. SCP-343, also known as God. Elderly human males, almost omnipotent, are voluntarily housed in Site.17, allowing them to interact with employees and other SCP projects. He is just an old and somewhat unusual reality distorter, originally named manga.I or the sorcerer Matsusala. He is an old friend of the administrator, staying here just in case he might come in handy. SCP-343, God, of course, he can't be a god. Appearing to be a non-racial humanoid, but clearly omnipotent. SCP-343 was found walking on the streets of Prague. He was detained after an employee witnessed him disappear from the street and reappear from the roof. SCP-343 was voluntarily detained in his detention facility. Because it has been proven that detention is impossible. Under normal circumstances, the record is to use the entire solar system to smash people. After Qingye came to this world, he obtained the template for SCP-343. Host. Qingye, template. SCP-343, loading progress. 30% as a Foundation enthusiast. Qingye naturally knows what SCP-343 is. He generally calls himself God and claims to have created the universe. But generally speaking, this is just rhetoric, no one will believe it. On the one hand, the Foundation only believes that he is a distortion of reality, with some divinity, but cannot be called the highest divinity, nor can he be called God. But for Qingye, this is not a big deal. The reason why SCP-343 is not considered God is because it exists in a terrifying world like the Foundation. In that world, who can be called God? This SCP-343 has the ability to easily enter a different world. All are safe gods. Are you joking? In some worlds, it's difficult to even blow up a building. Even the most powerful modern weapon cannot destroy a single leg hair on the SCP-343. The use of the solar system as a means of smashing people is common in many worlds. They are all comparable to the existence of dimensionality reduction strikes. It's just that the worldview of the Foundation is not enough. Coincidentally, the world that Qingye has traveled to. It seems like that the broad sea allows fish to leap, and the high sky allows birds to fly. That's all. Not to mention, there are other versions of SCP-343 available. For example, in the setting center of the Tianyan Apocalypse series, SCP-343 is the Supreme Divine Yahweh, who has countless angel legions under his command and is a truly powerful entity that controls life and death. Qingye doesn't feel that her SCP-343 template doesn't even have this series of settings. Although currently 30% of the template loading progress is already very strong. But he is more curious about what would happen if he reached 100%. No, 40%, there should be a qualitative change. The progress of the template is a hurdle every 10%. The requirement to increase template progress is also very simple. It's not about doing things according to the personality and behavior of template characters. In that case, when the load reaches 100% in the end, isn't it like being taken away? Is Qingye still herself like that? On the first day of the new book, I will try my best to keep it at 5 o'clock every day. Readers will vote for flowers and reviews, all of which are free data. You don't need to spend money. If you give tips, it depends on the situation. If you don't have many readers, you can keep reading. Your support is my biggest motivation for coding. Thank you very much. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 002, Wanjie Chat Group, Zhiqiu Shiyu. SC. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qingye would rather not have all her abilities than become someone else. Therefore, he is very satisfied with his system. The only requirement for improving the progress of template loading is to be happy, joyful, and do things that you find enjoyable and comfortable. Invincible, it's hard not to love such an understanding system. Heizuka Jing on the podium is still teaching Mandarin. The video above even plays a standard Mandarin video specially recorded by an A-level hero from the League of Legends. This hero Qingye doesn't know him, he should be an unknown person. But the students below don't think so. Seeing A-level heroes one by one, it's really exciting. Even Yingli took an extra look. Her family conditions are good, but that's her father, not her. And even if it's her father, it would be great to have access to the lowest ranking S-level hero. A-level hero, it doesn't seem very impressive. But in reality, when calculated, there are only about 30 A-level heroes on the surface. With such a large population base, over 30 is not an ordinary rarity. Ding, Wanjie Chat Group invites you to join. Do you agree? Oh. Qingye was holding her chin and looking out the window. Suddenly, a mechanical sound sounded in my ear. A bright green screen appeared before my eyes. Chat groups. Qingye's eyes lit up suddenly. Can he not know what the Wanjie Chat Group is? As the name suggests, a chat group composed of characters from all over the world. My own happy life seems to be coming. He had long felt that the world could not allow him to show off his abilities. If it's a Wanjie Chat Group, Qingye seemed to think of the days when she would show off her skills. Excited, my template surprisingly increased by 0.1% in progress. 30.1%. The Wanjie Chat Group is simply my lucky star. This hasn't joined the group yet. Let him increase his progress by 0.1%. Don't underestimate this 0.1%. He has now improved his strength by 0.1%. Enough to make some people from the low martial world sit on the ground and become immortals, soaring directly. And even if we don't mention this, Qingye has not seen any increase in template progress for a long time. This is definitely a good omen. Agree, ding, SCP.343, join the chat group. Gongshui Witch. Welcome new members to join the group. I'm not Kudo. Welcome, warm welcome, Ghost Kill Team Flower Pillar. Welcome newcomers, but surprisingly only one person joined the group this time. Xia Shitzi said, compared to this, I am more curious about what special features the people who joined the group this time can have. Xia Shitzi said, I want to find some more materials and think about how to write the next novel. Ghost Kill Team Flower Pillar. It's not very polite to ask these questions as soon as you enter the group. In fact, you can consult me and Cine for more detailed information. I'm not Kudo. Yes, I've been quite familiar with monsters lately. SCP.343. SCP.343, Xia Shitzi. Xia Zhiqiu Shiyu. Xia Shitzi. What? Xia Shitzi. Do you know me? Xia Zhiqiu Shiyu, who was rowing in class, was slightly taken aback. Looking at the Wanjie chat group with some surprise. She didn't expect that this group member could recognize her. Are they people from their own world? But my own friends, or it could be someone she knows. There is no one related to the mysterious code SCP.343. SCP.343, I know, how could I not know? Qingye is not very fond of using her omniscient and omnipotent power to explore anyone in this world. He believes that omniscience and omnipotence will undoubtedly deprive him of some of his pleasures. Sometimes, it's interesting to not know what will happen next. For example, during this period. The author he is interested in, whose pen name is Xia Shitzi. It seems that he did not write the love novel he had anticipated. But it was a sudden change in art style, starting to write about monsters. It is said that the grades seem to be quite good. After all, strange people run rampant in this world. Most people are willing to watch this type of theme. It can also be considered a big direction. At least much stronger than romance novels. This is strange, Qingye is very curious. But he didn't go into detail. Now, after joining these Wanjie chat groups, I guess I already know. No wonder the art style changes so quickly, but there is no sense of discomfort. There are experts behind the scenes to guide us. On the first day of the new book, I will try my best to keep it at 5 o'clock every day. Readers will vote for flowers and reviews, all of which are free data. You don't need to spend money. If you give tips, it depends on the situation. If you don't have many readers, you can keep reading. Your support is my biggest motivation for coding. Thank you very much. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 003, backtracking time. Are you playing games? You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Palace Water Witch. From Miyagi Mitsuba in Your Name World. Ghost Killing Team Style. From the Butterfly Chana in the world of the Blade of Ghost Destruction. I'm not Kudo. I don't know yet about this. Qingye touched her chin. He is not without trying to use the ability of SCP.343 to explore the identity of the other party. But the distance is too far, and his big hands are still unable to touch someone else's world. He should only be able to exert his omniscient and omnipotent power in someone else's world. As for the last one, my goal is to become an administrator. It is most likely the so-called Son of Destiny or Daughter of Destiny. If nothing unexpected happens, the functions in the chat group are all her golden fingers, right? Qingye smiled knowingly. He doesn't care about these things. After all, compared to cheating. Who can have his hanging big? Xia. What? Xia. You know me, why don't I know you? SCP-343, it's normal that you don't know me because I deliberately made my presence in school less intense, and I don't like to show off my uniqueness. After several years of verification, it will only make most students distance themselves from me. Xia. What? Are you a junior or senior in my school? Xia. How many years of verification? You should be a senior, right? SCP-343, no, this time it's your junior. Xia. What does this mean? You've confused me. Ghost kill Team Flower Pillar. Hey. Do you know each other? Xia said, no. I don't know. But he seems to know me. I'm not Kudo. People from the same world can even join the Wanjie chat group together. Gongshui which? It seems that they are not just people from the same world, they may still be from the same school. Zhiqiu Shiyu was made so confused for the first time. This person, what exactly is sacred? She is also considered a prominent figure in Toyozaki. Someone knows her. She was not surprised. But what Qingye said. But it made her unable to understand. SCP-343, literally, I have tried various methods that can make me happy. SCP-343, the first time I was a campus figure, the second time I was a bully, the third time. But each time until the end, it was very boring, so I chose to go back in time and start over. Qingye calmly recounted her previous experiences. He has been working for these years. I have done everything before. I have done both good and bad things many times. I have also played before becoming a saint. But in the end, he will quickly transition from pleasure to dullness. And each time the time is very short, probably just 1 or 2 days before he gets tired. It can only be said that something easily obtainable is a bit insignificant. This time he realized that being ordinary is true. Not using one's abilities to live would actually make Qingye's template progress load quite a bit. Just the Wanjie chat group once again aroused his interest. Compared to playing alone. In the chat group of Wanjie, one may find it difficult to tolerate what they once saw or to do what they once wanted to do. That's what Qingye is currently thinking. However, the words spoken by Qingye. But it made these group members in the Wanjie chat group lose their grip. What? What is he talking about? Backtracking time. Do you think this is playing games? Zhiqiu Shiyu is full of question marks. No, my junior, no, I can't even be considered my own junior, can I? Are you bragging? How could such a person exist in her world? Gongshui which? Ah. Are you a god? Newcomer. If you're not a god, you can't do things like time tracing. Ghost killing Team Flower Pillar. I can't believe it, even if it's a chat group from all over the world, I can't believe anyone can do things like time tracing. I'm not Kudo. You're bragging, definitely bragging. Xia said, Junior, don't boast about this kind of bullshit in the future. Everyone in the chat group of the world is not stupid. How could they believe such nonsense like you? SCP-343. Qingye can only say. Sometimes speaking the truth won't make people believe it. But what he said is really unbelievable. Who would dare to believe something without any basis? But SCP-343. At the target is the administrator. Hello, administrator. If it's you, you should know me. Hands off, Qingye can actually throw a video on the backhand. But doesn't it seem like someone can prove it to themselves? What's causing so much trouble? Do you need to do it yourself when there are tools available? The target is the administrator. Ah. Who is bothering me? What's up? I was just undergoing a martial arts assessment, so don't come to me for now. When I get home later, I'll The target is the administrator. Wait. Sleeping slot. On the first day of the new book, I will try my best to keep it at 5 o'clock every day. Readers will vote for flowers and reviews, all of which are free data. You don't need to spend money. If you give tips, it depends on the situation. If you don't have many readers, you can keep reading. Your support is my biggest motivation for coding. Thank you very much. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 004, no, prove that I am a god, and then grow up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Subebe originally wanted to shut down the Wanjie chat group. At that moment, I saw the name in front of me. SCP-343, Subebe almost suffocated. She rubbed her eyes. Can't you read it wrong? No, right. She fixed her gaze again. It does indeed start with SCP, number 343. I lost it, God, this is. Subebe was shocked. She doesn't actually know much about SCP. Even many animes are not particularly understood. After all, in her past life, she was a cash cow. Anime and online novels are just a diversion for her idle boredom. But SCP was also considered popular for a while back then. Subebe's first contact with SCP was with Mr. 682. The second time is 343. The video introduction is very clear. 343 is a pseudo-god. Not a true god. But Subebe also understands 343's ability to obtain the real world. That's the true god. Just in the Foundation's worldview. It can't be considered a very powerful character. Wanjie chat group. Subebe believes that after its development, it will definitely not be weaker than the Foundation. Even stronger. But the premise is that it has developed. Is this also called development now? Just a few in the group, I'm afraid even a small SCP.173 flower will be easily defeated by the group. There's no need to say 343 at all. Xiaoshitsi. Bebe, do you know him? Ghost-killing Team Flower Pillar. This is the first time I've seen such a reaction from Bebe. Is there really anything special about Mr. 343? I'm not Kudo. Oh no. Palace Water Witch. Curiosity. JPG, the target is the administrator. Are you joking? What's special about 343? 343 is God. Xiaoshitsi. God. Zhiqiu Shiyu was once again stunned. In the world she is in. Will there be a God? Or is it my own? Junior. No matter how you think, it seems like it's not very possible. She is a bit dumbfounded and doesn't know what to say. The goal is for the administrator. I know it's hard for you to believe, but don't worry, there's a video with the truth. Ding. Group members' goal is administrator upload video SCP.096. Do you want to use this video to prove that I am a god? Qingye's mouth twitched slightly. I don't know what to say. SCP.096, Shy People. It is a humanoid creature with no pigmentation in the eyes/skin, no hair, and an extremely elongated jaw. Usually housed in a dark and enclosed compartment. Once someone sees the facial image of SCP.096. Except for artworks, whether observed in reality or through other media such as videos or images, they all count. At that time, SCP.096 will immediately sense the presence of this person, break through all obstacles to reach their location and kill them. In a certain event, 343 saw the facial image of 096. As a result, 096 is like taking medicine. Directly breaking through the shelter, maliciously wanting to take down 343. The self-proclaimed God 343 will naturally not endure it. In his opinion, something that attempts to take action against God, they should all be eliminated. Immediately, a major battle began with 096. Various superpowers and methods emerge endlessly. Burning, water annihilation, lightning strikes, heavy blows, crushing unfortunately. 096 is like an immortal Xiaoqiang. It can't be killed at all, being able to stand up again every time. 343 is immediately irritable. 096 methods cannot cause any effective damage to 343. But it is enough to make 343 feel difficult to accept. I have never felt this feeling on a tiny creature in my life. 343 who feel challenged in their divinity. Just grab 096 and throw it into outer space. And replicated a solar system, shrinking it and slamming it fiercely towards 096, making it feel the sensation of a planet smashing its face. Its aggressiveness and defense are actually not very good. At least it's not enough to see in front of 343. But 096 immortality is too strong. And it's quite cloudy. This is not without wisdom. It's too fucking cloudy. In that great war, 096 was clearly turned into bones by 343. But when 343 was about to leave, he suddenly burst out and took 343's heart out from behind. This is known as a pseudo-god and is also listed as a divine and extremely powerful 343 in the Foundation. I almost had the same way of dying as Uchiha in Naruto. Not to die, it will be very uncomfortable. That's right. This is not the most important thing yet. The most important thing is that in the end, there was no way to kill 096. It can only be turned off. Then he stuffed it back into the shelter again. This battle. How to say it? It is impossible to truly experience the power of 343. On the contrary, it can only make people feel that 096 is very strong, right? Not to mention anything else, this can definitely be considered a shameful battle for 343. You can't post anything like this. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 005, this administrator is a smart person. You are listening at novelfull.audio. So. Qingye is only slightly speechless. He knows that the 343 battle 096 is the most outstanding battle of 343. But you need to prove to others that I am a god. This battle is obviously not the best, right? Especially the scene where 096 ambushed 343 and took their heart. It is simply possible to permanently pin 343 on the pillar of shame. Qingye thought she definitely wouldn't do that. At around 29% of the normal peak combat power of 343, he had already reached it. Currently, 30.1%. Don't underestimate the 1.1% increase, your strength cannot be compared to the past. It is absolutely impossible for such a situation to occur. But Subebe doesn't know. Sigh. I'm going to lose face. Qingye's mouth twitched. Shake your head. He was starting to think about how to explain himself. But. As a god. Explain this thing. It feels so cheap. My mentality has collapsed. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have sent it to the administrator like E.T. In Qingye's impression, there was not a battle that was overwhelming and brilliant, enough to prove the power of the gods. Isn't it good for him to send it out himself? Qingye has now begun to imagine the reactions of those group members. At the beginning. The reaction may be. There are many methods, so powerful, and they can also travel through time and space. Even planets can be manipulated at will. Hold the planet and smash people. Truly worthy of being a deity. Then, you will witness the scene where 343 was pierced by 096. It seems like 096 is even worse. Although in fact, 343 is stronger. People's perception does not tend towards 343. 096, with a weak body, pierces through the heart as a god 343. Even if 343 directly puts 096 on autism. The impressive one must be 096, and the garbage one must be 343. Is this still worth asking? However, this is Qingye blaming Su Bebe wrongly. Su Bebe's emotional intelligence is even lower. No matter how foolish a person is. It's also impossible for someone to immediately lose face when they first join the group. Isn't that just a case of wanting to be beaten up? But 343 has a slightly worse temper. Hey guy, when this video is released, can't it be ridiculed and become popular? I dare not even think about the rest. Even if the chat group has a treaty that prevents members from harming each other. There are simply not too many articles that 343 can do. Therefore, Subib's video. When 343 smashed the entire solar system towards 096, it ended. Smart. Qingye looked at the Wanjie chat group with some surprise. Perhaps the foolish losers from previous lives have seen too much. So I was a bit surprised to see a smart guy. He smiled knowingly. It seems that we can pay more attention to the other person in the future. Since he is a smart person, he doesn't mind being an old grandpa or anything. And after watching the video has already ended. But still in silence in the group it seems that they are all immersed in the battle in the video and cannot extricate themselves. I don't even know how long it has been. Only then did someone exclaim in amazement. I'm not Kudo. This is Mr. 343. He's really a god. Gongshui witch. The power of the gods is so exaggerated. Shocking, are those planets the solar system? The solar system. The maximum range that humans can currently reach is only around the Earth. Even the solar system cannot leave. But what about others? Take control of the entire solar system every minute. Use the solar system as a means of attack to smash people. This video is really too realistic. With the blessing of the Wanjie chat group. Quickly kill all those so-called science fiction movies. It's like everything happened in front of us. This is enough to make every earthling speechless. Miyoshi Mitsuba and I are not Kudo, that's it. Ghost killing Team Flower Pillar. Opening up space, instantly moving, flying, and even using planets as weapons for attack. Is this the way the gods fight? Terrifying, ghost kill Team Flower Pillar. The suspicion just now was my fault, Mr. 343. I hope you can forgive me. Bending down, they are both modern people like this. Not to mention butterfly Zainaiwi. I was stunned when I saw the video. As the only person in a group who is not in the modern era. I have never experienced information bombardment before. What planet, what satellite, what science fiction. These things, even if they are fantasies, have no illusions for her. Now appearing naked in front of me. A natural shock. If there is such power. What can all the evil spirits in her world be considered? It can even be said that it can turn ghosts back into people. However, the most shocking person. It's still not up to Butterfly Chana Hui. Who is the most shocked? That is naturally the poetic feather of Zhiqiu. So Arui's family, today I went for a gastroscopy and had my first general anesthesia. I felt so wonderful. 1 second I was still talking to the doctor, and the next second I fell asleep. When I opened my eyes, everything was fine, amazing. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 006, God has 1,000 faces, all of which are different. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Zhiqiu Shiyu couldn't imagine it at all. In my own world, there actually exists such a presence. Even the other party is still their own junior. And follow the content in the video. Most likely, what the other person said is true. There is no point in deceiving them. So I have already experienced the future several times. Just that this Mr. 343 gave him time to backtrack everything. Just thinking about it. I feel like my scalp is tingling, my hair stands on end. It's really scary. The goal is for the administrator to say, look, believe it now. They are gods, and it's good if they can accept your doubts. Gongshui Witch. Mr. 343, I'm really sorry. I'm not Kudo. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, too. I'm blind. Ghost Kill Team Flower Pillar. I hope you can spare us. SCP-343, it's normal to raise questions about things that are beyond the acceptable range. I won't care about these things, don't worry. Qingye really doesn't care. Otherwise, I would get angry at the beginning. Where else should the administrator explain? The goal is for the administrator to say, they are very magnanimous. Let's take 1,000,000 hearts. Since I have to explain everything, I must have accepted your doubts. If you keep talking, they will really get angry. Are you so stingy? SCP-343, that's right. Ghost Killing Team Flower Pillar. You are truly a deity, you are truly generous. I'm not Kudo. Mr. 343, let me introduce myself. My name is Quan Sini, and as your group friend, please give me more guidance in the future. Bowing, Quan Sini looked at the Wanjie chat group. Thinking about the incredible things that happened during video introversion. Her eyes looked very hot. He wants Qingye to get rid of the monster on his right hand. And watching Quan Sini's self-introduction. Qingye was momentarily taken aback. Then he nodded with a sudden realization. Turns out I'm not Kudo, really not Kudo Shinichi. But it's Quan Sini. From the protagonist in the anime Parasite. SCP-343, Quan Sini, I remember you now. What is Qingye Menqing thinking in this kid's heart? But later on, he doesn't know how to get into the other person's world either. Looking at the group of people who have already started chatting happily. Zhiqiu Shiyu is still amazed in her heart. Xia Shitzi said, I still find it unbelievable. Xia Shitzi said, my younger brother would actually be a deity. Ghost Killing Team Flower Pillar. By the way, I suddenly realized that Mr. 343 is not Miss Shiyu's younger brother. Why did he grow up like this? At first glance, he looks like an elderly person. I'm not Kudo. Hey. Elderly people. I'm not Kudo. Didn't I see a middle-aged person? Gongshui Witch. Ha. I also look like an elderly person. Xia Shitzi. You. Xia Shitzi said, are you having a problem or am I having a problem? I see that he is a young man about the same age as me, super handsome. I'm not Kudo. Dot. Ghost Killing Team Style. Dot. Xia Shitzi. Dot. Gongshui Witch. His is it really our problem? SCP-343, don't worry, it's my problem. Gongshui Witch. Ah. Mr. 343, you are a deity, how could it be your problem? I'm not Kudo. I ordered it. Ghost Kill Team Flower Pillar. That makes sense. SCP-343, dot. SCP-343, you misunderstood. The problem I'm talking about is not that kind of problem. SCP-343, what I mean is, as long as I want to, my image in everyone's heart is not the same. It can be a refined and easy-going middle-aged person, a kind elderly person, a handsome young man, and of course, it can also be a woman. Ghost killing team style. Xiaxitzi. I'm not Kudo. The goal is for the administrator. This is the gods. Is this the so-called gods have 1,000 faces? What I see is probably different from yours. Xiaxitzi said, Mr. 343. Junior. Then don't you have your true appearance? In that case, wouldn't everyone in life feel strange? SCP.343, of course there is, as you will see, as for the strangeness. In reality, I won't randomly unleash my abilities. Qingye must have her own appearance. That's what he looks like now. It should be similar to the youth seen by Shiyu from Zhiqiu. It will appear more introverted, without so much divine charm. More like a normal person. He doesn't seem idle, he changes around like a circus clown in reality. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 007, can we stop backtracking in time? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiaxitzi said, however, I have a question for you, Mr. 343. Junior. Why don't you show off your abilities without revealing anything? SCP.343, let's just call it 343 Junior Brother. The title, Sir Junior Brother, is a bit strange. As for what you said. I remember I said it was because of something. The target is the administrator. Shiyu, what are you talking about? Didn't you say it just now? I've experienced it a few times, and I don't like it. It's just plain and indifferent, that's true. Xiaxitzi said, oh yes, I'm sorry, but the information contained in the video was so explosive that it made my mind feel dizzy. I still can't turn around very well. I'm not Kudo. To be honest, I forgot too, Gongshui Witch. It contains too much information, and we are not very powerful characters. It's normal for our minds to be unable to process it all at once. The goal is for the administrator. Then you are a bit fragile. There are still many things that will happen in the chat group of Wanjie in the future. Just take advantage of Mr. 343's presence and exercise well. Xiaxitzi said, 343 Junior, since that's the case, I have a small request. Can we not look back on time in the future? I'm a bit scared. Zhiqiu Shiyu said for the first time that she was afraid. Because I'm really scared. Just say that you may be backtracked by time at any time. And then I don't know anything. Like an NPC in a game that anyone can play with. Who can be afraid? Just ask who can be afraid. The usually cold and quiet beautiful girl Zhiqiu Shiyu trembled with fear. SCP.343, sure, a small problem. This is definitely not a problem. Qingye also does not easily use the ability to backtrack time. Time tracing itself is not a good thing. Unless backtracking specific items in specific situations, this is often used. Generally speaking, when tracing the time of the entire world, Qingye is also rarely used. Say it again. When he joined the Wanjie chat group. Actually, I already know. I am unable to trace the time of the group members in the Wanjie chat group. This is the protection mechanism of the Wanjie chat group, and group members cannot attack each other. Time tracing can cause changes in the body, memory, and thinking of group members. This is not allowed in the Wanjie chat group. Of course. It does not mean that Qingye's ability to backtrack time is directly invalidated. Time tracing can trace the world without tracing group members. Of course. Cannot backtrack group members. The other people in the group don't know. After all, they don't have the ability to backtrack time. Able to perceive. After receiving Qingye's promise, Zhiqiu Shiyu finally breathed a sigh of relief. Although I believe Qingye won't do anything. But when I think about what I have experienced and how my mind and body forget everything, it still feels terrifying. Xia Shitzi said, "Thank you very much, brother 343. When you have time, I'll treat you to a meal. SCP.343, then I'll be disrespectful. I'm not Kudo. I've already made an appointment. Can you bring us together? I want to see Mr. 343. The goal is for the administrator. Let's talk about these things in our chat group when we have items that can travel around the world, and we'll calculate them. Your points may not be enough either." Integral. When Qingye entered the Wanjie chat group, she had already understood all the various functions of the group. Live streaming, red envelopes, uploading files, etc. They are similar to penguins. These are not important things. The most important thing is definitely the group mall. The items in the mall will be updated along with the characters in the chat group. For example, now in the group mall, you can buy ghost-slaying blade, parasitic beasts, your name, and all the things in the anime world where Aoba is located. If you add characters from Naruto later on. So the Naruto series' mall items will be updated. Characters entering the Dragon Ball. The mall items in the Dragon Ball series will be updated. And so on. However, the situation for administrators may be slightly more unique. I didn't see anything in her world in the group mall. After chatting for a while in the Wanjie chat group, Qingye contentedly closed the screen in front of her. The template progress has not increased. But if we continue like this, we should soon reach 40%. Qingye is in a happy mood. Watching characters that I knew in my past life appear in front of me. That feeling. Don't mention how exciting it is. Ding lingling. It's time for class to end. Unconsciously, we chatted all afternoon. It's time to go home and feed my little one at home. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 008, encounter a strange person on the way. Will we die, Qingye? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hello. Qingye stood up and was just about to leave. Another blonde girl with double ponytails squatting at home stood up. I'm not calling, Li. If there's anything, just say it. Qingye looked at the golden-haired defeated dog in front of her. That. Li clenched her right hand and coughed in front of her mouth, saying, I want to communicate with Shawu about the manga. Qingye shrugged and said, you can come over anytime, or you can follow me now. The little one in his family loves to draw. Coincidentally, Li also loves drawing. The two of them chatted passionately online. I used to be considered the best netizen. At that time, Qingye naturally encouraged Gauze Mist. After all, it's not the same thing to keep Shawu at home. There must always be social interaction. Although his conditions do not require Shawu to socialize for the sake of money. But humans are social animals. No social issues will arise sooner or later. Therefore, for female netizens, Qingye basically does not manage the yarn mist. The first base of Shawu and Li pair. It was only with Qingye pushing the waves around that it became successful. It's just that he didn't even expect it. The hot guy chatting with Shawu. Surprisingly, it would be my classmate Li. And after learning that the sister she met online was actually her classmate's sister, Li. He also showed surprise. Afterwards, the connection between the two became closer due to the haze. Li often goes home. I have knowledge about painting through communication with Shawu. When two geniuses in painting start talking, they will chat in a daze. I often have Qingye take her home at night. Humph, don't misunderstand. I don't want to go to your house, I just have a common topic with Shiyu, and it has nothing to do with you. Li seemed to be afraid of Qingye's misunderstanding, and then snorted again. The two ponytails on both sides swayed arrogantly. I almost threw it on Qingye's face. Qingye almost didn't laugh out loud. This golden-haired loser is not bad. Do you know that after you say this? The smell of concealing one's ears and stealing bells has overflowed. Aojiao is in the past tense, Li. Proud and delicate will only become a defeated dog, this is an eternal truth. Qingye casually lifted the backpack onto her shoulder. He walked out directly across Li pair. Only Li remained standing in place, feeling lost. I'm a bit confused about what Qingye means by saying then. I saw Li's face suddenly turn red. Qingye. What do you mean? Don't talk nonsense. What arrogance. Explain to me clearly, don't leave. On the way home. Li pair is still making a fuss. Forcing Qingye to ask what that means. Qingye then changed the topic and said, by the way, Li, didn't you tell your mother? Li hesitated slightly and said, what did you say? Of course, it's about you going straight to my house after class. Don't you need to go home? Qingye shrugged and said. I've said it, otherwise I wouldn't be following you now. Li nodded and said. The two of them chatted without a word and walked to a nearby park. Today is sunny and sunny, the weather is nice. After 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There are many children playing. Some young couples are also dating. Hey, Qingye, you said. Li was just about to speak. But at this moment. Under her extremely frightened gaze. Roar. A strange person in the shape of a trash can caught the eye. Gaga gaga. The trash can monster was very excited from the top of his head. In other words, the garbage cover keeps spitting out nauseating piles of garbage. Pup, 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 the surroundings of the park are covered with foul-smelling garbage. Help. Help. Nausea. The appearance of a strange person. Make the people lingering in the park suddenly become extremely frightened. One by one, they were affected by the foul odor. Vomiting while trying to escape. However, those garbage happened to surround the entire park. I can't get in from outside. The ones inside cannot get out. Some people want to forcefully break out and climb up while holding their breath. But these garbage have extremely terrifying toxicity. The person who has just come into contact with garbage suddenly has acne on their body. Immediately, amidst the screams of terror, it turned into a puddle of meat. Ah! This immediately caused countless screams again. Crying and shouting for heroes to come and save. It's useless. It's useless. You're all going to die today. The terrifying laughter of the trash can monster. Qingye. Do you think we will die here today? Li grabbed Qingye's arm with her small hand. My face turned pale. Looking at the clumps of rotten meat, I only felt my stomach churn. If it weren't for nothing in her stomach, she would have vomited it out now. She hasn't seen any strange people before. But that's all in the presence of heroes. There is obviously no such thing around here now. My legs have started to tremble. No matter how talented, in the face of life and death, it is still inevitable to be vulgar. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 009, it's all because of you dog breed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Don't worry, there won't be any problem. Qingye patted her little hand with a rosy complexion and comforted her. It seems that his calmness has influenced Li. After taking a deep breath, Li gradually calmed down. She nodded firmly. The hero will definitely come. Silly girl, I said I can't die, it's not because heroes will come. Qingye shook her head. Qingye's original intention was to wait by the side. The heroes in the League of Legends may seem average in strength to him. But the efficiency is still quite good. Once a strange person problem is discovered, nearby heroes will be quickly mobilized to rush over. Qingye's thoughts are a bit beautiful. No matter how fast the speed is, it's not fast enough for a strange person to rush to the place without doing anything. You all have to die. Ahahaha. The trash can monster grinned wildly and grimly. At a glance, I saw Qingye and Ingli pair. You too, die first. As a weirdo. The most annoying thing is someone with a beautiful appearance. There is no other reason. Because its head stuffed in the trash can is extremely ugly. The situation where humans become monsters. There are two types of strange people. Those who have a preference for bad habits or are caused by certain pressures, which can lead to the desire to transform or the desire for dissatisfaction, as well as those who develop genetic mutations caused by environmental factors. Secondly, strange people are created by studying this chemical force. It is not uncommon for non-human organisms to become strange creatures due to environmental pollution and other factors. And the trash can monster is the first type. He looks too ugly, ugly like garbage. From childhood to adulthood, I have been despised. Just like a trash can, anyone can spit on it. Today, his anger reached its peak. Since everyone treats me like a trash can, then I will become a trash can. He stuffed himself into the trash can. The trash can monster was born as a result. The people around were all holding back their faces due to the foul smell, and some children had already passed out with a pale complexion. Only Qingye and Ingli pairs remain normal. Plus their looks. It's too eye-catching. The trash can monster saw them at a glance. Now. Everyone looked at the two people. The passers-by beside Qingye and Ingli also looked frightened and couldn't help but distance themselves from them. How could this be? Ingli lightly bit her red lips and tightened her grip on Qingye's hand. You go quickly, Qingye, I'll hold him back. She seems to have made some decision. Surprisingly, he suddenly blocked in front of Qingye. Oh. Qingye didn't expect Ingli to be able to do such a thing at such a time. Well, to be honest, it's a bit touching. Ha ha ha, ah, ha. Ingli Li's actions made the trash can monster smile even more ferociously. The jealousy in my heart also grew stronger. Go to hell with me. I saw the trash can lid on top of the strange person's head suddenly open. A pile of filth spewed out like a column of water, rushing towards the pear and green leaves. Gollum. The foul odor emanating from it. And the constantly popping bubbles. It can be said to be extremely disgusting. Ingli Li has closed her eyes. In my mind are all the figures who just touched the surrounding garbage, causing pimples on my body and turning into mud and dying. Will I also become like that? When will it be the girl's turn to stand in front of me? At this moment. The helpless voice of Qingye rang out. He gently pulled Ingli pair behind him. Then he lifted his right hand slightly and lightly tapped his finger. Shwa. A flame burst out from his fingers, instantly igniting the filthy mass like a water column. Boom. It's like adding oil to a fire. A fierce flame surged into the sky, illuminating the entire park and instantly incinerating all the filth in front of them, leaving no ashes. Countless people watched this scene in shock. Even the strange person was stunned for a moment. And Ingli Li also opened her eyes at this moment, blinking blankly, looking at Qingye in front of her. Ah! What happened? Why didn't I die? Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, great. I'm still a capable person. Since that's the case, then you're even more damn. Since I have already shown something special. So Qingye is too lazy to continue writing. I thought I could just calm down, but it seems impossible now. It's all because of you, dog breed. A hint of sharpness flashed in front of Qingye's eyes, as she crossed the sea of fire and instantly appeared in front of the garbage can monster, punching her. In an instant. Bang! I only heard a deafening roar. The trash can monster was blasted away. Fragments splattering everywhere. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 010, join the snow blowing group. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This. We're saved. We're saved. Ha 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 ha. Everything only happens in a moment. Ordinary people have no idea what happened. I only know that the monster has died. Some even burst into tears of joy. Li looked at the scene in front of her in shock. This. She is ready to die with Qingye in love. Tell her the result. Qingye is so powerful. Shocked beyond measure. You should know that there are people in this world with special abilities. But not much. How many heroes are there in the League of Legends? It's not really much for the weirdo to count it carefully. And you should know that there are billions of people on Earth. Some people may not even have seen a person with special abilities in their lifetime. Not to mention the fact that one's classmates are actually special abilities. Alright, let's go. Qingye has no intention of explaining. Grab the small hand of Li pair. Take her straight to the sky. As for the people around me, the garbage surrounded by a circle is slowly decaying and disappearing due to the death of the garbage can monster. It won't take long to leave. However, at this moment, the garbage defense line that was already slowly crumbling on the periphery was suddenly broken through by violence. Bang! The garbage is scattered in all directions. A woman wearing a green dress, draped in a jacket, with an excellent figure and beautiful appearance, was surrounded by a green light and walked out of the defense line. If someone knows or is familiar with the hero guidebook, they can definitely recognize who the other person is. League of Legends. Ranked first in B. level. Leader of the hero organization's snow blowing team. The blowing snow of hell. Qingye itself did not pay attention to the meaning of blowing snow. Still flying out with English pair. Blowing snow, I looked around and found no trace of the strange person. Has the monster been solved by someone? But I am the only hero near the Heroes Association. She asked, but no one spoke. Looking at each other. I haven't regained my senses amidst the emotions of surviving the disaster. Blowing snow frowned and did not embarrass these ordinary people. Just looking into the air, there are only two things that don't look like ordinary people, Qingye and Li. Li. When have I stopped being an ordinary person? Did you solve the monster? Qingye didn't want to pay attention to the blowing snow. He knows that blowing snow is a difficult woman to deal with. Once entangled by her, it's easy not to get rid of it. But it's obvious that Snowy doesn't like his indifferent attitude. Instead, it further aroused her interest. She quickly flew up to Qingye and blocked his way out. A series of questions shot out like a bolt of fire. Who are you? I have never seen you before. I don't think it's a hero in the Heroes Association. If you defeat the monster, are you interested in joining the Heroes Guild and becoming a member of my snowblowing team? Qingye twitched at the corner of her mouth and said directly, I'm not interested unless you beg me. If it weren't for taking care of the feeling of Li pair flying for the first time. He left here long ago and still wants to argue with the blowing snow. Didn't you see that Li is now tightly holding onto his body like a koala bear, closing his eyes and not daring to move? What? Do you want me to beg you? Do you know who I am? Xue Xue was momentarily stunned and looked at Qingye incredulously, pointing to herself. I know, the leader of the snow-blowing team is just a B.level first. Qingye nodded and said, can you stop blocking the way? Heroes shouldn't bully an ordinary person without a reason, right? What kind of thing? Are you an ordinary person? Am I bullying you? How do I feel like I'm the one being bullied? Also, what does a B.level first mean? Do you look down on being ranked first in the B. class? Do you know that you look down on heroes? Being a hero can teach you a lesson, said Xue Xue with a black face. I don't know, I don't want to know, I'm going home. Qingye shook her head and in an instant moved towards the back of the blowing snow. The snow didn't even react, so when I turned my head, I could only see the back of Qingye. Hey! Don't leave. Blowing snow didn't expect Qingye to still have this ability. While her eyes lit up, she also had a desire to attract more people and wanted to catch up quickly. A powerful emerging hero. If you join her snow-blowing group. So she will definitely be able to better establish her reputation as a snow-blowing team. Attract more heroes to join. But Qingye turned a deaf ear to her call. Blowing snow chased after him and couldn't catch up with him at all. With every step taken forward, Qingye is able to cross space and reach the next spatial node like a flash. Every time she feels like she needs to catch up, the distance widens even further. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.